Hello everybody, my name is Sophie and welcome back to another episode of the Bookhater Club podcast. I am your host, honestly Sophie, and today we'll be talking about a man, and that's it. We'll be talking about a man. So if that's something you're interested in, I suggest you keep watching. Our topic today is a man on Booktok that got popular, and then 2 weeks after getting popular got a book deal, and people have been up in arms about it, so that's what we're covering today. But there's also another book series that's getting an adaptation, so God wills, we know how that usually goes, and I'll tell you which one if you keep watching. I'm not gonna spoil it. But it's one I've reviewed on my channel, and I didn't like. Surprise, surprise. So, before we get into those topics, there will be timestamps in the description if you only want to hear about one of those topics. I do want to talk about myself, as I am the host, and that is my privilege, and also what I'm reading, what I'm watching, and what I'm gaming, and my favorite drama. I don't have one. That's a spoiler, right? Oh my god, I forgot to think about that. Well, maybe I'll think of something while I'm talking. Anyway, guys, I'm so happy you're joining me today for this Bookhater Club episode on this fine... What day is it? Monday. Let me just adjust a little. Wait, like this. Wait, give me a second. Don't worry. Okay. So first up, I have a little bit of a life update. The only life update that there is that I got a new microphone for my camera and nobody noticed. That's all I wanted to say. To everybody who didn't notice, are you even an Honestly Sophie fan? I don't blame you. Does that mean I should send it back? Does it mean there's no difference? I think that it's louder. Like I'm louder now, but maybe I am too loud and I still haven't found the right settings for it. But it's on camera microphone. It's attached directly to the camera. And I didn't want a Bluetooth microphone, and I can tell you a little story about that because when I got my PC, this was pre-pandemic, like right before the pandemic started, I got this PC that I have and I love it so much. It's my pride and joy. And I had a cheap headset that I got from somewhere, I don't even remember. I think I got it from Amazon. It was like a set with a headset and a keyboard is the word. And that was a headset with a cable. You would put it, it's USB, you put it into your PC and it's connected and blah blah blah. And then one day I was at the store with my boyfriend and I had money because I was working a full-time job at the time, and then I had money and I didn't know what to do with it because I was living at home. I had no expenses. I was like, I have to buy something. Let's buy a new screen. Let's buy a new screen because I only had one screen. Now I have two screens. And then there was a headset that I thought was really cool, and it's this one. It's right here. I can show it as proof. It's this one, and as you can see, this one doesn't have a cable. This is a Bluetooth headset, and I just want to say that with microphones, I'm sure it's different. Like, that you attach to the camera and then you have like this when people are always holding like the little microphones, it's different. But with this, I remember getting it, I was so excited, I thought it was so cool that it was Bluetooth because I could just walk around while wearing it. And then the first time I got on a game with the people at the time, they were like, why the fuck do you sound like that? And then I was really sad. I got over it, but they were like, you sounded way better before. And so I'm a little bit scared of Bluetooth. Since that day, I have been scared of Bluetooth. And so I got a microphone that's attached to the camera. It's a little bit ugly, but apparently it's also not that good if you guys can't notice a difference. Don't you hear me better now? Don't you hear me clearer? It's okay. It's whatever. I take no offense. So that's the one life update I had. What have I been up to recently? I've been working a full-time job, of course, and I was in Munich for a day and I didn't meet anybody. I didn't see any of you guys. I was looking for all of you. There were a lot of Americans there. I was like, maybe one of them follows me on Instagram, but none of them did. Or if they did, they didn't say anything. There was a lot of Americans there. You can always hear them first. It's a stereotype. I know. I'm sorry. I know most of my audience is from the US and then Germany. Germans rise up, but not too hard, as always. And there were a lot of Americans there. But it's really true that you do hear them first before you see them. And then they were like, I was in a restaurant with my boyfriend. There was a table full of American girly pops and they were so loud. It was like a group of 10. They were so loud, and then they were like splitting the bill at the end, and it was like, oh, it's gonna be like, it's that's not how they talked. I don't know why I did that voice. That's not how they sounded. They were like, oh, it's gonna be like 800 euros. It's fine. It's like 800 euros. And it's like, oh my god, 800 euros? How much did you order? And they're like, oh, we ordered so much food, and then they got like dessert, and they got another thing and another thing. Is it that much cheaper for you guys here than over there? I think you make much more money. Why am I talking like this? I think you make more money in the US. So this is probably like over here it's cheaper for you guys. That's why all of the people were flying to the Eras tour in different countries, because that was cheaper than just going in the US, right? But it was still amazing to witness. And if you follow me on Instagram, let me know. Next time I'm in Munich, I'll tell you guys. But the bigger question, of course, is what am I currently reading? I'm currently reading A Fate Inked in Blood. Maybe is that's the name? A Fate Inked A Fate Inked in Blood. Yeah, that's the name of the book, by Danielle L. Jensen. And I know Danielle L. Jensen because she wrote The Bridge Kingdom, but I don't think anybody cares about The Bridge Kingdom. I think this was like her standout novel, right? She's written up more than just The Bridge Kingdom. She's written like 2 or 3 other series, but this book is unrelated to The Bridge Kingdom, and that took off, and I'm only reading it because my members voted for it, and because the sequel is coming out, or has come out, and I've been seeing that everywhere, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna, like, people have been talking about it, I'm gonna put that on a poll, and then I found out that's a sequel to A Fate Inked in Blood, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna read the first book first. I don't know if people care about it, but apparently my members do, because I did put other books on there that were really good, such as God of Wrath by Rena Kent, and I forgot what else did I put on it. Shields of Sparrows, which is also new and taking off. I don't know the author. And then I also put Direbound, I think it's called. That's also a new book by a debut author. And the only reason I put that on it is because I thought it was funny, because the author is actually 2 friends who are writing this book together, or who wrote this book together, and they chose the alias Sable Sorenson. And I find that a very interesting alias to choose out of all of the pen names that you could choose, but nobody voted for that, so I'm not reading that. I'm reading A Fate Inked in Blood, and I have not started yet, but it's coming this week, and it's I don't actually know what it's about. I think it's about like Norse mythology, and there's someone called Björn, which I don't know how people who speak English pronounce that name. Björn? Björn? BJ Orn? I'll find out, but it's maybe that's not even his name. I just read the synopsis. I was like, it's good enough. It's good enough for my members. They can vote. Thank you to everyone who voted. It's on YouTube if you haven't seen it. If you remember and you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. Go vote. But I'm already reading it. But for the next one, you can vote. And what am I currently... Oh, let me know if you have read it. And what am I currently watching? I'm rewatching Maxton Hall, my favorite German production in the world. It's getting a second season. The second season is coming out in November, and it's getting a 3rd season that was just announced today, and I'm all for it. I love German representation. It's really bad. The first season is really bad, but I have nothing to watch right now, and I just rewatched what is it called, guys? The other one, the summer I Turned Pretty. I just rewatched that. It's getting 2nd season soon, or it's what the fuck am I saying? The 3rd season is coming out soon, and I was like, I need bad television, and then I said I'm gonna rewatch Maxton Hall, and I just realized I didn't post for a thumbnail, so give me a second. Let me know what you guys are currently watching. I'm just waiting on all of the other seasons, but yeah, the 3rd season was announced. Maxton Hall is so bad. I've talked about it before. I love it. It's so bad. The English dub, the English dub is so bad. Also, I did watch it in German. Thankfully, that is my native language, but I was having this, I'm gonna step on so many people's toes. I was having this discussion with a friend recently, and it randomly came up, and about the dude from Maxton Hall, the dude who's playing the main character. I think his real name is Damien, and I don't know anyone who's named Damien, and that's a really uncommon name in where I'm from, in Germany. And he is super educated, and he's super smart. I think he's still in med school now, and he's like doing acting on the side, and he's got scholarships in the past when he was really young. Like he's very smart. However, I don't think that acting is one of his strong suits. I don't think he'll just ask and act. I'm so sorry. He's the new German heartthrob, and he's playing, like, there's like a 5 to 10 different German actors, and they play in everything, in every German production. And he now made it into that circle, I would say. And when the Ruby Red series was coming out, the trilogy was coming out, the dude that played the main character there, he was also in every German production. So he's like the new Ruby Red dude, basically. But anyway, I don't think that this Damien, and I'm so sorry for saying this because I know so many people love him. And he seems like a super great person, right? But I just don't think he can act very well. But, you know, that's just my opinion. So what am I currently gaming? Nothing. I'm not gaming anything. We can skip that one. And my boyfriend has been hogging me. I don't know if that's the right word. I don't want to say it. To get the Switch 2, we have a Switch 1. We have the original Switch, not even OLED. And we also have a Switch Lite. And I said it as if this is our purchase together. The Switch, the normal one, we did buy together. We paid half. And then he kind of just took it. And thankfully we're still together, so I still have access to it. But then I was like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? And I got a Switch Lite. That was back when I had a lot of money and bought the headset and I didn't know what to do with it. Well, I wish I hadn't gotten it now because I need the money, right? But alas, I still have that Switch Lite, and he's been saying he loves Mario Kart. I'm exposing him. He loves Mario Kart. That's his favorite Mario game ever. He keeps playing it now on our Switch that we have, and he's like, oh, I just really want to play the new Mario Kart. I really want to play the new Mario Kart. And I'm telling him, the people are not watching the ads, otherwise I would buy it for you. But I'm not gonna say anything particularly now, but some ads that I do when I have a sponsor, which I'm very thankful for the sponsors, some of them are not age appropriate, and then my AdSense gets restricted. It does get restricted. I don't get normal ads on the video because of the sponsor that I have. So please watch the ads when they come up. And I've seen that there's a new update on YouTube where you can see where people put ads. That's so embarrassing. You're gonna see where I put how many ads I put on the video. But just because you put them doesn't mean that the viewer gets the ad every time that it's put. That's at random. But I saw that on a video recently that I was watching. I don't even remember what it was, but I was like, I accidentally like skipped or something, and so I went to, because I don't really watch videos, I just have them on in the background, and I went to like I went to do something, and I saw like all of these yellow dots on the timeline. I was like, oh my god, they put more ads than me. But you know what, good for you. I'm not judging because I'm doing it, so who am I to judge, right? Alas, don't judge, okay? It's for the Switch 2. Nintendo, if you want to sponsor me, actually, I don't really, well, whatever. I take what I can get. So what is my favorite drama at the moment? I've been thinking about it in the back of my head while I'm speaking, and I don't have one. Can you believe that I've been keeping out of drama? And there hasn't been a drama recently that I'm like, oh my god, this is so interesting. Not even like in the German sphere that I could tell you guys about. Not in my personal life that I could tell you about. No one's been mean to me. So that's a little bit boring. So you guys let me know your dramas, your personal dramas, so I can get some entertainment out of that. Only if they're not bad, please, because I don't want to be sad. Okay? Only if they're funny, please. So my boo-boos, what topic should we start with? I think we're gonna start with the adaptation, and I was like, you can guess what book it is, but I'm just gonna tell you. I saw this on, I think, Instagram, and I was like, do people on Instagram care about this? But Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross is being turned into a film. I was like, is it a series or a movie? It's a movie. It's being turned, or I'm gonna read the headline. Paramount acquires rights to Divine Rivals film adaptation. Sofia Alvarez set to pen script. Twinsies. She's also a Sophia. Actually, okay, favorite drama at the moment. I said I didn't have one. At work, there is one lady who is external. She's like not from the company, but we are working with her together. And she knows me because I'm in calls and everything for this project. And people talk about me, and my email, my name is right there. She keeps writing Sophia, and I have been thinking about redacting a letter from her name because I can't switch one. That's not the kind of name she has. I was thinking about redacting a letter from her name out of spite, but then I was like, I actually need this, you know, this is my internship. I need to stay, so I didn't do it. But anyway, Sofia Alvarez is set to pen the script, and I did read Divine Rivals. I even read Ruthless Vows, which is the second book, and I think that at the time, maybe I even said that I think this would make a good movie, because it was written very script-ish, and this is something, you guys must be so sick of me saying this. Let me know if there's anything that I say all the time that you're sick of me saying. Don't, I will cry. That a lot of the books that I read or review for you guys are written like scripts, or I don't even know how a script is written, but they are written very abrupt, like the scenes end up very abruptly. They're very patchworky, they're not strung together, blah blah blah. I always say the same phrases over and over again. And Divine Virus was one of those books that did read like that, whereas one scene would happen and then the next scene would just happen, and we had a huge gap between the two scenes where you're like, okay, what's happening in between? You can't just skip what's happening in between. But if you don't know what Divine Rivals is about, it's this book that's described as a romantasy, but it's more like, it wouldn't have had to be a fantasy. It could have just been a romance, like, not modern day, because they don't have electricity, so they have typewriters, they don't have computers, so it would have had to been in the past, but it could have just been an historical romance. There was no reason for it to be magical, besides maybe the fact that one of the dudes gets his memory whipped by the magical god, the evil god, who could be described as the devil. So that's a spoiler anyway. That's in the second book. The first book is about this girl and this boy, and this girl works for a company and so does the boy, and they both are battling to they're like doing internships, I think, and they're both trying to get the job, and they don't get along, but they both have a magical typewriter, and when they write a letter and then put it in the closet, it gets delivered to the other person, and that's how they start writing back and forth. And the dude knows the entire time that it's the girl, and so does the reader, because I think it's dual POV, so it was not a secret at all, which I criticized, and I still do. Like, where's the mystery? Everybody knows that he knows, and she doesn't know, and then she finds out, and she's like, ugh, that's so mean of you, and also you're rich and I'm poor and my mom is dead. And then they do kiss in the end, and there is a war going on between two magical gods. One of them is Shaitan and one of them is the queen of music or something, and the evil god really wants to kill the music god, or kiss, marry, kill one of the other, or maybe all three he wants to do to her. And I remember that there was no point in these gods existing because they don't have any influence on the story. So that's why I'm saying it could have just been a historical romance, because these gods don't take any influence on the story. They are mentioned offhandedly, and even in the second book where the dude gets his memory wiped, he could have just had like a form of amnesia. So what does this article say? Paramount Pictures has won the rights to Rebecca Ross's fantasy. Ross also means horse in German, but it's a very old, like, no one uses that word. It's a very old school word for horse, just so you know. Fantasy romance novel Divine Rivals in a highly competitive multi-studio bidding war. We can confirm. This is confirmed by Deadline, whoever the fuck they are. Who the fuck is fighting for this fucking ass book? Sofia Alvarez scribe like in fourth way behind the first two To All the Boys I've Loved Before films, based on the books by Jenny Han, will write the film adaptation script for the studio. Alvarez made her directorial debut with the Netflix film adaptation of Sarah Dessen's Along for the Ride, starring Emma Passaroff and Belmont Kameli. I don't know who the fuck these people are. The first book in the Letters of Enchantment series arrived April 2023, followed by its sequel. We fucking read that already, bitch. I know that. I read that book. I reviewed it. Lorenzo Di Benaventura is producing as part of his first look deal with the studio alongside Pooya Shabasian, who worked on the Divergent and Elysian films. That is a bad omen. That is a bad omen, guys. I have to take a little breath. And Rebecca Horse will executive produce. The fucking Divergent and Allegiant. Oh my god, I want to rewatch them so bad. I'm trying to get my boyfriend to watch them with me whenever he's like, oh, my boyfriend is a little bit of a movie snob and it gets on my nerves a lot. He wants to watch, you know what we recently watched, guys, and I really don't care about movies, right? I want to be entertained. I don't need them to be that deep. We watched that one really deep French movie that's in black and white, even though it didn't have to be in black and white, and it wasn't fucking French, bitch. Sorry, I really don't care about movies that much. I really don't care about anything that much. I need to calm down. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is I don't really give a fuck about movies, whether they are acclaimed or anything. He always says like, oh, let's watch this movie. It's won an Oscar. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck if it's won an Oscar or not. The fuck? Like, I'm not that superficial. That doesn't mean anything to me. Let's watch Divergent. Let's watch Divergent and Allegiant. And this, what is the other one? If you guys don't know about this, which I don't know how any of you guys wouldn't know, but the first Divergent movie hit, smash. I think I watched it in the cinema. The second one also, the third one also, but the third one was only the first part. Oh my god, I told this story before, but in the second book, they like put out a gas into the city to kill everybody, which is reminiscent of something that the Germans did at one point in history. And I remember that they probably, I have to rewatch the movies. That's why I want to rewatch them, because it's been in my mind since I saw it for like the first time, and then I never really tried to re-find that scene. They say something about gassing up the people, and in German you can't really say that, and they used a really weird translation for that scene because they couldn't outright say it, because otherwise it would be too close to the Holocaust. And yeah, what the fuck was up with that? But anyway, I remember they were flying around in bubbles in the third movie. I don't really know if it's a good omen that they're using that person for those two, for that adaptation. But alas, will I be sad? Absolutely, I will be sad. Of course, our most exciting topic of today's podcast episode is a man. And I've talked about men before, arguably, and it's not my favorite topic, but it's something that sometimes just has to be done. If you guys remember the last time I talked about a man on Booktok, it's been a while, and the episode is even called something like Men on Booktok or something like that. It was a dude who was rage baiting with his book, or that he was releasing a book. No, he had a book, and it was like really misogynistic, and then people called him out. I wonder if he's still around. I actually don't. I don't really care that much. But this man has taken the world by storm. And I want to give a disclaimer that everything I say is alleged, and it's more of like the vibe is not a deep dive into this dude, but more like, I'm your friend, of course. Honestly, Sophie, president. Honestly, Sophie, I'm your friend. I'm your president. And I'm just on FaceTime with you, and I'm telling you about this drama that I heard. It's like me informing you. So I take no responsibility for the accuracy, and everything is just alleged in my opinion about this man. And at the end of the day, I think it's a fun drama. Well, it's a little bit deeper, definitely, but it's also funny because, to me, it's a little bit funny because I did not know what the fuck was going on for the longest time. I just heard people like talking about it behind this man's back, being like, there's a man on Booktok and he just got a book deal after being on Booktok for 2 weeks, and other people who have been, trying for years are struggling to get a book deal, and everyone kept talking about it, and I never once got this dude, the perpetrator, on my For You page. And so everyone was like, oh, we know why, because he's hot. So I was expecting a hottie, right? I was expecting a hottie, and I'll show you guys what he looks like. And I'm not saying that he's an ugly or anything, but I am saying that his neck is really big, and that's throwing me off a little bit. I don't like men with big necks. It's and because his face is so small compared to his neck, and so he would not be someone I would turn around for. If I was in the city and I was like walking around, being a little bit silly, and he would walk past me, I would be like, oh my god, he has a big neck. That would be the first thing that I noticed. So, who are we talking about today? We're talking about Luke Bateman, the Bachelor star turned Booktok heartthrob. Of course, this man is conventionally attractive, and his name is Luke Bateman, and he used to be an NRL player, which stands for National Rugby League. He's Australian, and he also used to be on The Bachelor. In 2023, he was on The Bachelor, and I don't watch The Bachelor, so I don't know anything about that. I don't know, maybe one of you guys watched it, but I heard that there was like 3 dudes in that season, and they've started doing that in Germany, where they've expanded from 1 bachelor to 2, but 3 is a little bit much, in my opinion. Not that I watched the German Bachelor, but I just, you know, it was like a headline when they were like, oh, we're having 2 bachelors. I was like, okay, but 3? We gotta tamper, it's enough. Enough is enough. And we don't need more men. So he was one of the bachelors. Maybe I'm lying, but he was one of the bachelors. He found love with Ellie Rolfe, and they broke up in early 2024, so they didn't stay together for very long. Whether he had any controversies while he was on The Bachelor or not, I don't know, but we will talk about an alleged controversy about him in a second. And as I also said, he used to play in the NRL, and he used to play for the Raiders between 2015 and 2019. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. Ultimately, he was forced to give up the sport following a knee injury, which is, of course, very tragic. Rugby, right? What's the sport? Yeah, rugby is a sport that I don't give a fuck about. That's not very big in Germany. Like, people, it does exist in Germany, but I've never watched a rugby game. I think there's like a lot of ass grabbing going on there, and that's just like something that I'm not really into particularly. And also, maybe that's why his neck is so big. But anyway, he's now a farmer, and all of his videos that he posts on TikTok, he's in like a tractor. And he's always like dirty and he has a mullet. I'm gonna start barking. And the most important thing, of course, is he's an Aquarius, but he is a January Aquarius. He's on the brink of being a Capricorn. That is a red flag. Don't get into it with Capricorn men. January Capricorn men, don't get into it with them. But anyway, he's now a farmer, and he started posting on Booktok about fantasy books. He says he loves fantasy books and smutty little fiction novels. And, you know, women eat that shit up. And men. I'm not gonna... What's the word? Not discriminate. Segregate. I'm not doing that here. He started posting reviews. So I think he's definitely reading the books. Some people were like, oh, he's not reading the books, like with the other dude that people were talking about back then that I have a podcast episode about. They were saying he's not reading the books. This man, he seems very knowledgeable about the books that he's talking about, so I do think he reads them. Whether he enjoys them or not, okay, that's up to him. I feel like maybe fantasy isn't really for him, but he does seem to enjoy them. And he was like, you know, I'm a blue-collar working man, and people in my vicinity don't really talk about books, especially not the books that I read, and so I just wanted an outlet, and that's why I started posting. That's his explanation. Made a TikTok, started posting little reviews, little silly, sexy reviews with his big neck, and also in a tractor, and that's of course really hot. I love a man who gets down and dirty. He has said that he's loved books his entire life. I've never really had anywhere to talk about it, to share those things, obviously being a male in a blue-collar work. And his first video received 2 million views, which I do have a TikTok video with 1 million views, so that's not impressive to me. And his account exploded, amassing nearly 180,000 followers in less than 2 months. And I checked earlier, and he still is at 180,000. And the article that I'm reading out is from June 4th. So that was last week. Today is June 9th when I'm filming this. So he's not been getting more followers. So what is up with that? What is up with that? I'm not sure. So his reception was positive. People were sucking him off, basically. Well, they wanted to suck him off. And that is why they started following and started thirsting over him. I think that was a big part of it. And of course, they think he's hot and sexy and juicy, right? Just weeks, I'm reading from this article. This is, by the way, by, I actually don't know, ABC. The ABC. I don't know all of these international, putting a spell on you. ABC, DFG. All of these fucking, can I fucking speak? What is this called? International news things. I don't know all of the names, but this is by the ABC. And they made an article about it. And there's a picture of him in a hat, in a cowboy hat. Are there cowboys in Australia? Anyway, a headline making book deal. I'm just going to read out the article. You could have just read it up yourself, but you're watching me reading it out instead. Just weeks after his viral debut, Bateman hopped on TikTok to announce he had signed a 2-book deal for a fantasy series with Artria Book Australia, an imprint of publishing house Simon and Schuster, which of course we know. The announcement drew a mixed response on Booktok, #Booktok, with some users taking to the comments section of the video with questions about Bateman's writing experience and if the deal was based on his virality alone. Comments included, well, good to see that publishing is still a colossal joke. Oh my god. Bateman had said in an announcement video that his social media presence was a big factor in his book deal being finalized. And one of the things that he said in that video, because I did watch it, is, I'm so excited to start writing this book. Which I think was his biggest mistake, because people were automatically like, or instantly they said, what do you mean? You are excited to start? You don't have one? So then he also said something along the lines of he's been thinking about the story since he was 16, which people always for some reason say 16. If someone asked me, I would say 12. I would just to like kind of upscale, you know, I just want to be better. So I want to, when I was 2 years old, I thought of this. That's what I would say, 2 months and 1 day old. That's when I started thinking about this. But, oh my god, the ABC has contacted Bateman for comment. Well, let's read out the comment then. Anyway, yeah, he said he doesn't have a book ready. And it was kind of like on proposal alone. And he's excited to start writing it. And so people were like, what the fuck do you mean you're excited to start writing it? Why haven't you fucking written it yet? How the fuck did you get a book deal? There are so many people out there from marginalized groups, you know, POC people who have written books and have been inquiring for years. They have finished books, they're polished, they're ready to go, and are not getting any book deals. And then this fucking NFL, RNL, R&B singer and ex-bachelor comes around and fucking gets a book deal with his big ass neck. How's that fair? The comment. It was obviously everyone on here resonating with me at the day Simon & Schuster gave me this opportunity. All of you have helped me to fulfill my childhood dream. Okay, is that his comment? Or what? I don't really know. This is confusing. This is not a good article. I'm sorry. She also confirmed that he wouldn't have a ghostwriter as someone... Oh my god. Wait, what the fuck am I reading right now? Anthea, I've never heard that name. Anthea Baramies, who acquired the international rights to Bateman's books for Atria Books, confirmed in an Instagram live that she spotted Bateman on TikTok and had reached out to his agent. I had seen Luke online, like I know many people have for the last month or so, and I just loved his content and was like, oh my god, he's a big book nerd. Well, obviously, if you love his content, you would know that. Barry Amos said that she had a meeting with Bateman, who pitched her a fantasy series that he had in his mind and has been working on for a long time. She also confirmed that he would not have a ghostwriter, not me lying again, as some had speculated, and that she had been provided a writing sample before the deal was finalized. And how long was that sample? I hope it was long enough. The ABC had contacted Bateman Baramis for comment. They have contacted, but have they commented? Hello? Brian Bateman, an Australian queer author and poet living with a disability, says the news of Bateman's book deal reflects a lack of effort from big publishers to invest in marginalized authors. I find it extraordinary that 6 weeks on TikTok is enough to generate the kind of lavish outspending that Simon and Schuster are obviously prepared to do, she says. The problem isn't Luke Bateman. The problem is big publishing companies. And I think that kind of encapsulate what I think about the situation, because a lot of people were coming for him directly, and I mean, he's getting that back, right? He's getting that back. Of course he's getting that back. That's always what happens with these fuck ass men with big ass necks. And also, something before we talk about that is, when he made the video where he was like, oh, I got the book deal, he said, I was literally crying. Here's the picture of me crying. And I was like, okay, thank you for nothing. Like, what the fuck was I supposed to do with this? I thought that was very odd. But I think, again, the issue is not with him necessarily. I mean, he's part of the problem or part of the machine, but at the end of the day, it's Simon and Schuster who are like, okay, this is a man who's viral to a certain extent, because I hadn't heard of him before. He's hot, he has a following, and his book is going to sell. Whether that is true or not, we will see. But at the end of the day, it is these publishing companies that are putting stones into marginalized groups' ways. And all of these authors who have been working on their craft for years and are truly passionate about it, and then comes a random ass man around the corner and is like, hey, I like reading, and they're like, okay, here's a 2-book deal without you having any experience in writing whatsoever and never really working on it and just thinking about it in your little head. So that's that. A lot of people were also speculating whether maybe he had a book deal before and he's just like maybe the face of this campaign. Like they had a book planned and we're like, oh, we need a face for it and we need to make it go viral to sell it. Let's just use this man. So that he was like a marketing plant. I'm not really sure. I don't really know anything about that. But I also think that the publishing scene in Australia is probably a lot smaller than it is in the UK or the US. So when there is like a breakout influencer in the scene, the some issues are big, but it's like the local imprint are way quicker to jump on that than they would be with like in the US author. That's my opinion. So, what do you guys think about him? Do you think his neck is really big? And what do you think about his crying picture that he oddly put in there? And I just, again, think the issue is with the system. It's not necessarily with him, though. As I teased earlier, I did see one TikTok, and this is all alleged. We have no proof of this, of one person saying that he dated one of her friends for a while and that he was not the best. She said love bombed her for 6 months, then his mask came off and he weaponized all of her insecurities and was coercively controlling with everything, including her money. Typical narcissist behavior. So this is just alleged. Like this is just a random lady coming on here and just saying something, but maybe he is not a good person. What do we know about him besides the fact that he was in the NRL and that NRL sounds like NRA. Isn't that something bad? Isn't that something with guns? I rebuke it. I rebuke the guns. I don't want them anywhere near me. Except Fame is a Gun by Addison Rae that has been on my For You page constantly. Anyway, I don't fuck with him. I'm not going to read his book. I think that maybe even this fame that he has found is short-lived. Because again, like, how come he doesn't have any more followers in the past week? He's still at 180k? How's that possible? Because he has been posting out of his fuck-ass tractor with his fuck-ass mullet. So I'm curious to see how this will develop and if anything actually comes to be out of this, if they do end up making a book. Or if this was maybe too quick and they should have waited a little longer. Or maybe they were afraid that his hype was going to die down. And we're like, oh my god, we have to get him a deal now, quick, before he becomes irrelevant or he says something wrong or gets exposed for something, I don't know. And so they wanted to jump on it quickly, but maybe it was too quickly. Maybe it was too early, maybe. 6 weeks and they already gets a book deal? I just feel bad for everyone who has been really trying with their stories and think their stories have potential and they have not had the opportunity to get them out there. But keep trying, and I hope that it comes to fruition, or however people say. I hope that everybody gets their dream. My dream is to become a famous influencer who never has to work, so please watch the ads. That is my dream. I'm supporting your dream and you better support mine. I know this was a little bit of a shorter episode, but there wasn't that much going on in the Booktok realm, and I mean, this story is also still developing, I would say. We don't really know where we are right now. I don't really know where I am. So let me know what you think. If you're gonna read his book, if you had even heard of this. Again, I hadn't even seen him before people were complaining about his deal, so maybe that's a sign. New angle unlocked. I don't know what I said last. I did film an outro. I do not want to get any accusations that I am not doing my job correctly. I did do an outro and it's gone. So what the fuck is up with that? What the fuck is up with that? I don't know where it went. I also look a little sweaty. I checked the weather report for Germany, obviously, for local. And why is it supposed to be like 35 degrees Celsius tomorrow? I don't do well with hot weather or cold weather. I'm very weather sensitive. That's a different topic. But anyway, doesn't really matter. Anyway, if you don't hear from me, that's the point I'm trying to make. It's because I'm dying. Like, I'm already sweating. It's not even there yet, you know? So, you guys let me know what you thought of, or not what you thought because it's ongoing, what you think of this man, if you had heard about this, and what you think, or if you're excited for the Divine Rivals adaptation. I'm so confused right now. I was gonna say, let me know what you think about the book. What book? This isn't a review. This is so confusing. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. I hope you love this new angle that I'm doing. Should I do it in every video? That's a trick question because I won't. It's really exhausting for me to sit this straight up. I want to sit like this. But I'm professional, so thank you so much for watching. And of course, before I end this video, I want to give a big shout out to my members. My members get to vote on my reads, which is they voted on the book I'm reading now, whatever the fuck that's called again. The title is too long. They also get most of my content a day early, and they also get exclusive content such as my Ruby Red movie commentary and of course my internal peace and love. So if you want to support me, if you want to join the book haters, then you can consider. And one person that considered and joined them is gluten-free keto. I actually want to know, oh well, thank you first of all, but I do know one person who has a gluten allergy, and I never even knew that like gluten was such a big thing that people were like, oh, I'm how do you say verzichten? How do you say it in English? I'm not eating any gluten because for whatever reason, I didn't even know it was that big of a thing, and I just know one singular person and he had a gluten allergy, so my thoughts go out to him. I'm thinking of him right now, and also of gluten-free keto. If you are my ex-school, not my ex-boyfriend, but my ex-school, not even, he was in school with me. If you are from my school, then reveal yourself. Gluten-free keto, is it you? Do I know you? If not, then that's fine too. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to everyone who's also just watching and not a member. I still love you. My members obviously a little bit more, but I still love you. I hope you stay happy, you stay healthy. Peace and love. And hopefully, I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.